Hi, Tony here, and welcome to this webinar. Now, it's absolutely great to be on here talking to you today. I'm really excited about the content of this webinar, as it's probably the most valuable content that I've ever revealed for free. Now, I can guarantee that what I'm revealing in this webinar is simply the best and most consistent method of making money online, literally for anyone of any level. Now, most of the guru training that you probably may have already seen tends to miss out at least one key feature, and that kind of stops you from making a success online. I don't know if you kind of noticed this, but you get a lot of training. You seem to get into it. It seems to be a lot in it. You do it all and you put it together and it kind of works, but it's not very successful on the actual producing the cash at the end. And there's a good reason for that. It's usually because there's kind of one element or one particular process or maybe more even sometimes that are just missing from this kind of training. It's just not a complete training. It looks like it is, but it really isn't. Now, on this webinar, I am going to literally reveal everything you need to know, including the things these so-called gurus kind of leave out of their training. Now, I've got a lot to go through, so I will kind of dive straight in, but please do hang in there with me. There's quite a lot to go through. It's going to be quite a long training. But, it really is all training. Now, literally every minute of the webinar is jam-packed with information. And the information I give here on its own, you can literally create a six-figure income with. It really is that simple. So stick me to the end. And on top of not only with this training, but at the end of it, I've also got something I really want to tell you about. And this can really raise your game and guarantee you kind of success. So let's head on through with the training now that I've got for you. So for anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Tony Marriott. I've been working full-time online since 2009. That's a little over 6 years now. I'm originally from the UK, but I now live mainly in Greece. So having an internet business kind of allows me to live anywhere and do a lot of traveling, of course. And that's really what this is all about for me. It's not really about the money, but it's about the freedom. It's about the freedom to live where I want and go where I want and do what I want and to be able to do that whenever I want. So, the picture you can see here is my wife and me in one of the street cafes in Thessaloniki. And that's just a ferry ride across the bay from where we live. We kind of love it over there and we have a really good time, enjoy the sun. And I just couldn't do that, without working online. You couldn't do it with a standard 9-to-5 job. And I mean, before working online, of course, my story was pretty much the same as many others. In fact, probably exactly the same as your own stories. I had what we call this 9-to-5 job, but it isn't 9-to-5 anymore, is it? It just consumes your entire life. And it literally left me with no freedom to do what I actually wanted to do. But working online has literally changed all that for me. Now, I'll save the longer story that jumped me from a kind of overworked, highly stressed employee to a kind of relaxed and happy guy in control of my own life, but for another time. But for now, I kind of want to get on and explain a bit more about how you can also achieve this kind of online life if you want. So the big question is, how do you make money online? Well, actually, there's probably dozens, if not hundreds of different methods for actually making money online. Unfortunately, most of those you will need to be either very expert in some specific areas or have some significant capital to start up. And even then, these methods can take years to get into profit. There are other methods, and some of those can be very short-lived and completely unsustainable, which the majority of them are. A lot of the training that you get will include processes that kind of work, but for a very, very short period of time. They're either breaking somebody's rules, breaking somebody's T&Cs, or the sites and the systems behind the processes can change and the whole thing comes to a grinding halt, and that can happen almost instantly. Others might require you to kind of work continuously for making money. So, you end up working so much, then there's no real benefit to what you're doing. Your online business or your online work means you're still working as much as you were in your 9-to-5. So whatever you're doing, you can't enjoy it anyway. Now, the method or the system that I personally use is one that doesn't really require any specific skills or expertise that can't be very easily learned. and it can be done with very little upfront money. And of course, any business, including online businesses, and anything you do, you can always be better and faster and quicker by having more capital up front. Of course, you're going to need to spend a little bit of money. Nothing's completely free, but there's very little beyond things like an autoresponder and a website to actually get this up and running if you're really, really tight on funds. But as I say, obviously, it makes life a lot better, and you can help yourself a lot by being able to invest a little bit of money into your startup if you can. As I said, and the results from this particular system are usually pretty quick and, as I say, completely sustainable. So, it runs automated. Once it's built, it runs pretty much automatic. So you can kind of get this thing up, put the work into it, and then after that, you can ramp the work right back and keep this sustaining, very evergreen process. It's not something that kind of just runs out overnight. So what do you need for a successful online system or an online business? Whatever system you use, it has to be 4 things. It has to be achievable. In other words, you need to be able to do it. It has to be within your capabilities to actually build anything that you're going to do. It has to be functional. So when you have built it, it has to work. It has to actually work and actually make money. It has to, of course, be sustainable, so it doesn't die out immediately. It needs to keep making money for a long time, months or years after you've done it. And it needs to be automated. That means you don't have to keep working on it. So once you've built it, you have to put some effort in the beginning, but you have to build things. But once it's built, then you don't want it to take up all your time. I mean, at the end of the day, the whole point, as I say, from this is freedom. So you don't want to be having a system that kind of sucks you back in the same way as a 9-to-5 job. You end up working 8 hours a week and never having any time to do anything else. It's just pointless. So what are the problems for people trying to make money online? What stops you doing it? What makes people fail when they try to make money online? Well, there are a number of reasons, and I've covered some of them here on the screen, but one of the big ones, of course, is that a lot of people think they can just buy the next shiny object or which is a magic button or a little bit of software. They can click a button and money will just come out the other side. So you kind of believe this instant riches syndrome that people have, and it's just not realistic. It really is not realistic, especially if you're looking at a sustainable online kind of process and business to generate money for a long time to come. You might better put something together that breaks somebody's rules horrendously, completely immoral in the way it works, and pull some money into your PayPal account very quickly. But you're just looking for disaster, because it's not going to work for long. It's not actually going to make you long-term money, and you're just going to end up upsetting everybody and probably getting yourselves in trouble as well, getting accounts banned and things. So these things are really, really, the magic button, the instant riches, they just don't work. And if they are working, you need to question why they're working, because, you usually got some real issues there. And the second reason why you do it is because they're not prepared to actually do something. I mean, you've got to work. You've got to actually do something. You can't expect everybody else to do it for you, or to do very little and things just to appear. Whatever you do, you have to do it. You have to commit to it, and you have to be prepared to actually work at it. And the other thing is people just lose patience. Their attention span is kind of minimal. So you start working on something and you get partway through it, but you don't see the end quick enough, or you get to the end and you don't see the money coming in quick enough, so you kind of bail out of it. So that's another reason of why people kind of fail online. And even if you get all past that, even if you get your attitude right and the way you work right and you get everything done, you can still find that you're not making money at the end of it. In that case, what's most likely is what I've already said about it's just like you only have part of the big picture. If you think about it, you buy a bit of training and you learn how to, for instance, build a new product or create a product in just 30 minutes. Fantastic. You take another bit of training and you learn how to create instant traffic, and somebody then teaches you how to create free traffic. And maybe you can look at page 1 ranking, how to get your pages to the top of Google. And maybe somebody else gives you a bit of free training that gives you the latest SEO theories, and you learn all these things. You can learn them inside out, but you're still not making any money, because none of these things individually make cash. They're just parts of a bigger picture. They're useful and they're correct and they're right and they're brilliant and all that, but on their own, they don't make any money. So you're learning all this stuff and you're not really getting anywhere. So today, what I want to show you is the bigger picture. Okay? In fact, it's the exact system that I use to make a full-time living online. I've tried all sorts of things in the past, and I've learned from other experts, I've learned from people that are far better than me, and I've taken all those different trainings, I've put them all together, and I've learned from that, I've experienced from that, and now I've finally got together to a point, where all these bits and pieces are joined, and I've created this particular system, as I say, and I use this to make a full-time living, and this enables me to do what I want to do. In fact, the system is not like my own secret. I'm kind of giving away the secrets, if you like, from one point of view, because it's what a lot of other people won't reveal. But it's the same system that almost every other successful internet market will be using, or at least they'll be using a version of this system. And the reason I know that is because, as I said, I've spent a fortune in cash and literally thousands of hours discovering what other successful marketers are doing, and how they can make huge amounts of cash online. And at the base of it all is this same system. It doesn't matter what niche they're in, it doesn't matter how they're operating it, how the traffic is generated, or whatever they're doing. This core system is what makes them their money. And this is where you need to be. Now, as I said, the system, it's taken me like 6 years to get this perfect. And as I said, this has allowed me to transform my life. I mean, I'm now happier, healthier, I'm certainly less stressed, I can spend a lot more time with my family and doing all the things that I want to do. And as I said, that's the reality of why I do it. Like I said, it's not just the money. To be honest, if you just think all I want out of life is the money, then you might be kind of setting yourself up for a bit of a fail, because if you earn £1 you want 2, if you earn £2 you want 10, if you want £10 you want 1,000, if you want £1,000 you want 100,000, and that's just human nature. So there might be, for a lot of people, a better way to look into the future, or to plan, or to aim a target, a goal for what you want, is not so much a physical amount of cash. I mean, a lot of these trainings will say, how much do you want to earn? Do you want to earn £1,000 a month, or $200,000 a month? Those are targets, but they're just money. They're just cash targets. And sometimes I think that can hold you back because you don't think you're achieving what you're trying to achieve. Your goal, like in my case, was really just, as I say, the freedom to live a better life, to be able to spend more time with my family, to actually enjoy my life. So that's what my goal is, to enjoy life, not necessarily to have £1 or £10 or £50. Okay, I keep banging on about the system, so let's get to it. Let's have a look at what this system actually is. Now, I mentioned earlier that any system you have needs to be achievable, functional, sustainable, and automated. And this system is exactly that. And importantly, I also spoke about the reasons for failure. And the big one for me, is that most of the training products tend to only teach one part of the system, or sometimes they teach multiple parts but miss out a crucial part. What that means, unfortunately, is even if that training is brilliant, and I mean some of the training is really, really good, it's just not complete, it will almost certainly fail to make any serious money, because, as I said, it's just part of the full solution. It's not, it's not the big picture. It's not a complete solution. It's just part of a solution. It's just part of a system. Now, I'm going to fix that part of the problem for you today, because I'm going to give you the full solution. However, the actual work part, i.e. doing it, that will need to be done by you. You've actually got to do some work here. Well, like I said, we've been over this. There's no magic button solution. So, if you still believe there are magic button solutions, if you're just a tire kicker, or you've got the attention span of a 5-year-old, nobody, not even me, will be able to help you. So what I'm going to give you a brief overview of the actual system, and then I'll go more detail into each of the individual parts so you can have a clear understanding. Now, the system's based on selling information products. This is primarily things like ebooks or videos that teach something or offer a solution to a problem. Something you've probably seen before. In fact, you've certainly seen the products on sale, both within the market. If you've been looking at your Warrior Forum or JV Zoos, or you're on anybody's mailing list, you'll be seeing these promotions being sent to you. And even if you're outside, in other niches, you'll be able to see these things on millions of pages on the web. things like ranging literally from how to lose weight to how to make thousands of dollars, or even how to grow taller or cure acne or how to raise fish or play the piano and even train dogs. I mean, the subjects you can sell information on is basically unlimited. And that's the positive side of things, because that means that no matter what your experience is or what your knowledge is, there is such a huge and vast range of subjects that you can create information products for, is that it actually makes it really simple. People kind of think that the world is flooded with information products, but believe me, there's a darn sight more people looking for them than there is selling them. When I say selling them, in fact, many of you may already be selling products. You might be selling some of these products as an affiliate. I mean, you may even create your own products, but you most certainly would have seen them being sold as an affiliate, as say maybe even selling them as an affiliate yourself and making some money. So that's the basis of what we're going to do. But the secret, if you like, is the way we do that. So the system, as I say, does work best with your own products, but in practice you can use affiliate products. It's one option to start using affiliate products and then replace them with your own products later. And this is a way you can kind of get the system up and running quicker. It means you're not taking a long time to create products. But then again, creating products can be done very, very quickly if you stick to a process. As I said, it does work better with your own products, and that is the route that I recommend. So let's have a look at the system as a whole. So there it is on the screen, the whole system. It's one simple diagram. Now what you can see in this picture is that I've identified a number of elements that make up the entire system. Actually, I call it a system, but it's really a process, or more accurately, a set of processes that all work together to create this single system. Each element has a specific purpose, and as I say, makes up part of the overall system. So when all the elements are working together, you have a complete system that is almost completely automated. In fact, it's a system that can churn out money literally on demand. Now, this is not to be confused, and I keep reiterating this, with some magic button solution, because that's definitely not what this is. You will need to invest time and effort into building your system, but that effort will be well rewarded in the end. So in this diagram, you can see there are 6 elements: the lead element, the brand element, the launch element, the back-end element, and the affiliate element. And these are all joined together by the central square there, which I refer to as the people element. Now, when I mention the launch element, I know a few of you will be thinking, oh, product launches, that's kind of not for me. But that's absolutely fine. Don't panic about product launches, because the big launches that you're thinking of are not required for this system to work. You can include them in there if you want to, but it's absolutely not a requirement. In fact, this system is designed specifically to be sustainable. So it's an evergreen system, if you like. It kind of just runs on all the time. It's not a boom and bust continuous launch type system. But I will explain that in a little bit more detail when I talk through the system in the specific elements of the system a little bit later. But for the moment, just think that, as I say, don't worry about the launch part. It's not, you don't have to do big launches. This is more to do with using the processes from launches, if you like, to make your sales and conversions higher. And as I say, we'll talk about it a little bit later on, where it fits a bit better, a bit further on in the training. So as I said, all these elements are needed to create the perfect online money-making system, if you like. They all need to be together. You might be able to create money without including every element, but it's much easier and much more successful and much more sustainable when you do put them all together. Okay, so let me break it down a little bit for you. In its simplest form, we can look at just 3 of the elements. Let's start off with that. So that's the lead element, the people element, and the back-end element. So we're going to ignore the rest for the moment. We're just going to stick with those 3. So the people element is basically your autoresponder. Now, if you're not familiar with what that is, it's an online software service like Aweber or GetResponse, and it kind of allows you to store people's email addresses in it, and you can then automatically send email messages to those people, and that's the kind of promotions that you want to do, the product promotions, etc. And you'll have heard expressions like, the money's in the list, or you always build a list, and that's basically what the people element is. And that people element, that autoresponder, it's the key to automating the system. That's what I said before. You don't want to be having a system that you've got to keep working at. You want to be able to build this once and kind of move away from it and let it do its work. And this is where the automation comes in. The back-end element, that is simply the main products that you are selling. So in short, you will get web traffic coming into your lead element. That's what the lead element does. It will capture the emails from that traffic and it will automatically add them to the people element, the autoresponder. And I call it the people element because it really is a list of people. Sometimes people put email lists together and they forget that they're not just emails. They're actually real people. They're your customers and or your future customers. And you have to treat them like that. It's not just emails you can just burn out to. You know, they are real people and they need to be treated like real people, the real people they are, the people that are going to make you lots of money. So the people in the people element can, as I say, be automatically emailed offers that sit in your back-end element, and that's where the money is made. Now at this point, I want to tell you that the back-end element is where most of your money is made. Okay, there are other places in there where you can get some front-end stuff which will generate money, but the big money, the long-term money, and the serious money is all made in the back-end element. Now, it's important to remember this. It is the element that is generally missing from most of the make money products. Now, yeah, they all sell stuff, what they call it on the back end, but they don't really have a back end element. They just have a product to sell. And you'll understand that more when I get to explaining that specifically when I talk about the back end just a little bit later. I'm going to get into more detail. So as I said, the back end element is where most of your money is made. Important thing to remember as we go through. But now I just want to jump on and go into a bit more detail on the individual elements, the lead element, the people element, and the back-end element, so you can get more understanding of how those things go together. So at the moment, we're just talking about traffic coming into the lead element, emails being passed to the people element, and then products in the back end being emailed to the people in your list. So let's look specifically at the lead element where everything's kind of starting. Now the lead element, it's the main traffic gateway into your system. Now it generally consists of what we call a squeeze page. Now this is just a simple single web page that offers some free products in exchange for visitors' email address. So here's a typical example of a squeeze page. As I say, it's usually very simple in layout. The whole point of this page is just to capture an email address. So it consists primarily of some kind of headline, maybe it's a short benefits list, and a call to action. In other words, it's actually asking somebody to add their email into the form. And that's all leading, to, as I say, to just that one thing, and that's getting the visitor to enter the email address into the form and click that button. So this particular squeeze page, what I call a static squeeze page, it's just got text on one side, as you can see, and the form and a button on the other. And where this text goes could be replaced by video. They're quite popular to see video squeeze pages. But if you have a video on there, it needs to basically say pretty much exactly the same as it is in the text. It's just going to be a very short video. Remember, you're trying to just get that email in there and the button pressed to capture that email so you can get it into the system and start the automation process of actually beginning to promote to your bigger products. So this piece is very simple. If it's a video, you keep it very short, 30 seconds, literally no more than that, and just everything you can put on there to quickly get people to get their email in. Now, it sounds like you're kind of rushing people into it. It's kind of the way it is. It's just the way the system works. It's a squeeze page. It has only one solution, well, two solutions. One, you can leave it, or two, you can put your email in. So obviously you want to try and get them to put their email in, whatever you can. But don't worry, you're not doing anything unethical here. We actually really are going to give them something of true value for free in exchange for that email address. And that free product, I like to refer to as a lead magnet. In fact, it's quite often referred to as a lead magnet. And the reason I would call it a lead magnet is because it's a special type of product that needs to offer a fast and simple solution to a very specific problem. Now, often it's just a short report in the form of an ebook or a PDF, but it can be a video, of course. But it doesn't need to be anything too complicated. We're not giving away huge ebooks or huge video training courses. We're giving away something, as I say, quite specific. Kind of remember these words. It needs to be kind of offer a fast and simple solution to a specific problem. So it might be something like, for instance, the 3 foods to avoid if you suffer from heartburn, or maybe the top 5 exercises to remove belly fat, or maybe the 2 things that will stop your site ranking in Google. So you can see from those kind of titles, they're just short things, maybe tips or tricks or quick solutions. There's something that is quick to do, and when they get it and they do it, it's easy to do. That's also important as well. And it needs to address a very specific problem. In fact, the narrower you can make the problem, then obviously the quicker and tighter the solutions are. And that, from a lead magnet perspective, means it's better. It needs to be a relatively short PDF or video that simply gives what the title promises. And that's the other important thing. If you promise the top 5 exercises to remove belly fat, then you need to deliver the top 5 exercises that remove belly fat. Nothing else, nothing more, nothing less. So, deliver exactly what you promise. Now, importantly, it must also be related to the Backend Element product. So if you think that these people that sign up and become part of your people element in your autoresponder, you're going to mail them backend product offers. So they need to be one and the same thing, or one tightly in the same niche as the other, because these people will have signed up for whatever it is, for instance, the 3 foods to avoid if you suffer from heartburn. Then obviously your back-end products must relate to curing heartburn, because that's what they've signed up for, that's what they've shown an interest in. If your back-end element contains, say, a weight loss product, then your lead magnet needs to be weight loss related as well. It stands to reason that the people who take your weight loss freebie offer, and in that particular case, they're going to be interested in weight loss. So it would be pointless to offer them an acne cure or even a make money product. So each lead element, and you can have multiple lead elements, there's not just one, you can have multiple ones, but each one will offer a specific free product. And to get that product, the visitor will need to obviously enter their email address into the form on the squeeze page. And that form comes from your autoresponder service. They actually give that to you. So you set your list up in your autoresponder and they give you a bit of code and you drop that onto your squeeze page and it turns magically into that form. And as soon as somebody puts their email in the form and hits the button, it again magically gets loaded into your autoresponder list. This is all part of the automation. As I say, it takes a little bit to set up, but once it's done, it's pretty much fully automated. As I said, the autoresponder will also deliver the free product automatically to the same email address. So when they put the email address in, press the button, not only will that email address go into the autoresponder, but the autoresponder will also send an email out to them with a link to their product to download. So people visit the squeeze page, they're added to the autoresponder, and they get the free product delivered to them, and that can all literally happen in a few seconds and 100% automated. Okay, let's look at the people element. Now we've talked about that. I said it's basically an autoresponder, and that's exactly what it is. There are quite a few autoresponder services around, and they all have their pros and cons. It's kind of generally whatever your choice is really for whatever you need. The main ones you hear and are generally suggested are one called Aweber and another one called GetResponse. Now these have been around for quite a long time and they're very solid solutions. However, I have noticed that they both have their own problems. Email delivery is always a problem for autoresponders because the spam filters, etc., and all the email, especially things like say Hotmail Live and Microsoft Gmails, Yahoo Mails, etc. They have some good strong spam filters built in there, and they will block things if they don't like them. These autoresponder services, they need to work hard with these companies to be able to deliver all the mail there, and some of the reasons why some of these autoresponders again have quite restrictions of what you can and can't do with them. But as I said, Aweber and GetResponse generally used to be the ones mainly suggested, but I have found that their email delivery can be a little inconsistent at times. One little tip for you, It's current now, and I've been testing an autoresponder called Fluttermail, not the most famous one, but as far as delivering is concerned and collecting emails, it is very, very consistent and works very well. So you might want to have a look at that one. There are free software and even free autoresponder services, but trust me when I tell you that none of them are going to be any good for this system. Generally, they don't have enough functionality. So if they're free, they generally don't have enough functionality. They're not as good as the mainstream ones. The software ones tend to rely on your own server to deliver emails. If that's a shared server, it's just not going to work because your email provider or your service provider is going to close that down pretty rapidly. There'd already be limits of probably 200-day max anyway. And if you get a few spam email clicks from recipients, you'll find that IP will get closed down by some of the major spam blockers as well. And you'll find that you won't be able to deliver any emails at all, and that's your system completely lost. So don't try for free autoresponders, and don't use the autoresponder software. Use a web-based service. Unfortunately, it means you will have to pay monthly for that, but it is worth it by a long shot, believe me. As I said, the autoresponders, they tend to have a monthly fee, but that's easily covered from the sales from your list. I mean, even with 100, 200 people on your list, you should be able to be making enough each month to cover your autoresponder fees very easily. Most offer a 30-day free or $1 trial or something like that. So look around and see what it is that's being offered, and whatever suits you, kind of take up on that. But you can certainly get a month free without having to worry. So it gives you a month to start getting things into place. And you most definitely will have heard the expression, the money's in the list. I mentioned it a little bit earlier. And this is the list that it refers to. So, although they say the money is in the list, it's kind of true, but the reality is it's not so much it's what's in the list, it's what you do with the list. And this system is absolutely what you should be doing with the list. So you're collecting emails, you're building a list, and you're automating the process to promote your products in the back end. And the way you do that is done in a special way as well. And again, we'll talk about that a little bit further on as we go into more detail with the other elements. So if you're not familiar with autoresponders, I'll just go through it a little bit. They basically allow you to add email addresses to what we call lists. Now, once an email is on your list, then they're called subscribers. Now, these are the actual people. So although we're talking about an email address, as I said, you've got to remember it's actually a real person. So we call them a subscriber. Now, you can have multiple lists, of course, and you need to keep your lists niche related. So you could build a list of money-making subscribers for a start, or weight loss subscribers, but you wouldn't mix both of those into one list. That's important because you mail out your products to your lists, and you want to be able to keep your lists separated into the appropriate niches that you're working in. Now, you first do this, you're probably going to be working in one niche, but of course, you can replicate this kind of model over and over again for different niches. Now, you can also send emails to any list of subscribers, and you can do this in two ways. One is what we call a broadcast email, and that's generally, it's like a one-off mail to a list of subscribers. So you'd use this when you were promoting, for instance, affiliate offers, or if you were doing your own product launch. You wouldn't want to have it automatically going out every time. You would simply have send one email out to your list saying, oh, look, I'm just launching a product, or by the way, do you want to buy this affiliate product? And you send out a single email, and you do that kind of manual process, really. The other way is referred to, it's called a follow-up email, and that's the actual automated one. That's the automated emails that are mailed out to a specific list of subscribers at certain points in time. Now, some of the autoresponders do it slightly differently, but they're all fundamentally the same. So, for instance, it would send out its first email or one email as soon as someone's added to the list. So as soon as somebody signs into that squeeze page, gets added onto a list within the people element, the autoresponder will send them an email straight away. And that first email would generally, in that particular case, be delivering their free product. But you could have another email automatically sent, say 2 days later, and another one, say 3 days after that. And they could be either additional free products or some advice or even promotions. They could be whatever they need you to be. So this is kind of a method of automating both the delivery of the product, by adding a link to your product in the first email, as I said before, or you can send out a series of emails, as I say, to promote your back-end products. And talking of back-end products, let's actually dive into the back-end element. So the back-end element, it's basically made up of your main products. So in practice, this is all the web pages and the actual information products that are needed to offer or sell and deliver the products. So that would be a sales page, and any upsells, and the thank you page. That's the one that actually delivers your product. So the sales page will contain your sales letter and your buy buttons. So you should have one or more upsell pages. Definitely recommend that on all your back-end products. You always have upsells. This is one way of getting more revenue for the same traffic, basically. It's just an important thing you must do. Don't get too carried away with that. 1 or 2 upsells is pretty good. More than that, you just tend to annoy the people that are coming through. So stick with 1 or 2 upsells just to maximize your revenue. Again, these are pages that have sales letter and a buy button on. So each of your upsells will basically be another sales letter with another buy button, but for that specifically upsell product. Now, you haven't got to worry about linking all these things together. It sounds complicated, but basically you go to JVZoo or Warrior Plus or Warrior Forum and a number of other systems that allow you to just drop your products in there, and they'll do all the linking for you and make all this stuff join together. So, let's say you haven't got to worry about it. You've just got to put all the products once into the system, and it'll all be done. It'll all be linked together. When it comes to buy anything, if they buy something off the first page, it will automatically send them to the second page, etc. So, nothing complicated here. It's something that's all done automatically. And like everything in this system, takes a little bit of work to put together. Once it's together, runs automatically. Okay, let's just have a look at the actual flow of the way this actually works. So here on the screen now, we're looking at the bottom part of this is your back-end element, if you like. And in this particular back-end element, I have 3 products. You can have more, of course, but in this one, I'm going to have 3 products so you can see how it works. We have product 1, product 2, and product 3. And for each product, this is an upsell. Each product has upsell 1 and upsell 2. And at the top of the page, we have the autoresponder list. This is our people element. We've got people in there, people's emails in there. And automatically, due to the follow-up sequence, if you like, or the follow-up emails processed from within Aweber or wherever you're using, in this particular case, it's saying that after 1 week, so email series week 1, so after 1 week of being in that particular autoresponder list, it will automatically mail out a promotion for your product number 1. And anybody buying that product will be sent to upsell 1, and anybody buying that will be sent to upsell 2, and eventually will have their product delivered to them. And then nothing will happen for another week, and then email series 2, email series week 2, will get the same traffic. The very same people that were sent to product 1 will now be sent to product 2. So all those people that have and haven't bought product 1 will be sent to product 2. And of course, they may or may not buy product 2. They may buy product 2 because it's slightly better for them than product 1 was, or it's more suitable for them, or for their particular place that they are in their world of IM at the moment, or in their world of whatever it is they're looking at. And similarly, a week after that, the very same people will be sent to product 3. And again, depending on the product, a number of people will and won't buy it. The important thing here to understand is that we have multiple back-end products. As I say, don't confuse the back-end product with upsells and downsells. Each product has an upsell and downsell, and if it was a front-end product, it would also have an upsell and downsell. But at the moment, we're looking at back-end products. So we have a product, and as you can see, each one has an upsell and has 2 upsells, has an upsell and a second upsell. And I say, remember that everyone on your list, because this is really important to the way the process works and to why it's successful, is that everyone on your list is being mailed to multiple back-end offers. So each offer means you make more money from each person on your list. So in practice, you only need to break even, or you could even make a loss on one product. So if you'd bought some traffic, for instance, and sent it to product one, and I don't know, you paid to have a banner ad put up, or you bought some solo ads or something, and you send some traffic to product one, you've added them to the autoresponder, and they then get sent to product one, and a number of people buy it. If it's cost you, say, $50 to get that traffic, and you only make $50 by selling the product, then it's not much of a success. Or at least it wouldn't be if you didn't have more products to sell. And this is really the key thing. So a lot of these other trainings really only take you to one product. So it's quite a battle to make sure that the cost of time or money that it costs you to get your traffic doesn't necessarily give you enough sales. Now in this system, because a week later we're going to send it through product two, so you're reusing your traffic by sending it to multiple offers over time. If you only made $50 on the next one, you're now in profit. If you make $50 on the third one, you're now doubled your profits. Now, generally, once your numbers get up, you're going to depend on how much traffic you're sending and what your conversions are to how much you'll be making. But you can take those $50 to $500 or $5,000, and suddenly those numbers become huge. And this is why a lot of people fail, because they're only sending to the one product and they can't make a profit. But because you've got multiple products being fed by the same traffic, then you're almost guaranteed to go into profit every time. This is the big secret of the system, if you want to call it a secret. I don't think it's a secret. It's when you know it, you know it. And I think most of the top internet marketers, or all of the top internet marketers, know this, and they know this works, but they avoid telling you this little bit. As I say, it's what they miss out. They train you and they kind of miss these things out. So again, remember, it is automated. You're going to do no more work sending your subscribers to one offer or three offers, than you are to one. Because it takes a bit to set up. Like all these things I said, you're going to have to do some work here. You're going to have to set this thing up. But once it's set up, it just runs on its own. Everybody who comes into the list 1 week later will get sent to product one. 2 weeks later, we'll get sent to product two, and 3 weeks later, we'll get sent to product three. And everything is automated. Okay, now let's kind of cover the three elements that make up the subsystem, if you like. That's the bit that actually makes the money. But there are three other elements, and you kind of want those elements to ramp things up considerably, but it also ensures that everything runs a lot smoother. As I say, you don't need the additional elements to actually make money, but you will make more money, you will make more consistent money, and you'll find it a hell of a lot easier once you've got all the elements in place. So the first of the remaining elements that I want to talk about is the launch element. You'll almost certainly have heard about product launches, and you may even have been involved in them, either as an affiliate or a product buyer at least, or even launching your own product. Now, I've already mentioned that launching products or using the big launches is not an essential part of this system. The system works perfectly as an evergreen system. In other words, one that feeds traffic into the system to make consistent revenue. In fact, the system, that's how it's designed. It's designed specifically to do that, to be a kind of evergreen, not a boom and bust kind of launch process that a lot of people go through. Now, in some niches, specifically IM niches, I'm thinking, launches can be a great source of revenue. And of course, it can add buyers to your list. It's a great way of doing it. However, neither of those should be your primary reason for launching a product. And of course, most people who launch a product are only thinking about the money. But as I say, it's a boom and bust thing. You launch one product, you'll make some money for a short period of time because of the way launches work. And then after that, they die off. Literally a week or 2 weeks from a launch, you're making no sales at all. And you have to create a new product and create a new launch. And so it goes on. And this system can take traffic from that, absolutely, and feed it into its system and keep it as part of the evergreen process. But it's not a key part of the system, and it's not what makes the system run. One of the biggest advantages of launches in this system is basically credibility and branding. A single launch, A single successful launch will make you very well known, liable to add a lot of people to your network. I don't mean customers, I'm talking about affiliates and other vendors. And it can also make you a perceived expert in that niche overnight, simply because it raises your profile in the niche. If you launch an SEO product and 500 people buy it, that means thousands will have seen it, and your name will be remembered, and you'll be perceived as an expert in that niche simply from doing the launch. So there's some huge advantages to launching other than just making money. But as I say, they're not, the big launches are not crucial to this system. It's a small part of the system. It's not a major part of the system. Now, launches certainly work better in some niches than others, and that's generally because there's more affiliates in some niches. So you may be able to do niches certainly in the IM related niches, and maybe things like weight loss and a few others. Some of the other niches you may be not to be able to do launches quite so well, simply because there's not so many affiliates. As I said, but that's one of the reasons why we don't rely on launches as a major part of this system. Now, I personally now work in the broader IM niche, although, before I got here, I actually worked in a lot of other niches in the past. So I know that, this thing works well from all niches. It doesn't have to be in the IM niche, but as I say, obviously in the IM niche is where I am at the moment, and that's what I operate in. But I say you can use this system for any niche products. Now, whether you decide you want to do a product launch or not, so entirely up to you, you still need to understand the principles involved in launching products, because you need to apply the same principles to the way you promote any of the products. So all the products in your back end still need to have a special way of offering them up. You do this simply because using a few of the basic launch methods, if you like, or the more launch strategies, will dramatically increase your product sales. So if I try and explain that a little bit better, an offer versus launch. Now, an offer, I say a product offer, is offering something to sell somebody, and a launch is something just a little bit more exciting. So, an offer is usually a one-off shot at selling your product. So you say, I'm just offering my product. So there's nothing more to it. Send somebody an email. Do you want to buy my product? Yes or no? Although you may be sending someone that has previously shown an interest in the wider niche to your sales page, we've gone through the squeeze page, we've captured them because they're interested in that freebie, so we know they're in the same niche, they know they're interested in it, but they may not have a specific interest in that exact product. Or they may not read the email on that day. Or they may not yet have enough confidence in you as a seller to actually buy anything from you. There's lots of reasons why just sending a single email to somebody and offering them something is not necessarily the best way or going to be the most successful way of actually selling a product. So if you now think of a launch on the other hand creates some recognition of the product niche, maybe even create some buzz and excitement around the product. It is something that's done very, very successfully by massive companies that you will know, like Apple and Microsoft, etc. So when they're launching new products, if they're launching a new iPhone or they're launching a new Xbox, they don't just mail out one day or put one advert on the TV or just stick them in a shop on the morning they're open. There'll be weeks of advertising, of magazines, of interviews, of TV programs, and by the day that they put them in the shops, people are queuing up around the corner at midnight to buy them. And that's kind of what you want to do in a slightly smaller way, but that's what you want to do with your product. So you want to try and use a launch process for your products, not a major launch, not this huge launch I'm talking about, just some simple principles. And that will change it from an offer to a kind of launch. And it will mean that your sales and conversions will dramatically increase. So in its simplest form, is what I've got on the screen here. So if you're looking at the bottom, we can see it says product 3, upsell 1, upsell 2. So this is one of our back-end products that we saw on the earlier slide. I've dropped the other 2 off just to keep it simple and put some room on this next slide. So we've still got our autoresponder list at the top. But what I've added in now is a series of emails. And these are the emails that are being sent to the people in the autoresponder list to promote product number 3. Instead of just sending out a single mail saying, buy my great product, and it means you actually craft a series of emails that builds up anticipation over a few days or a week or so. So in this particular case, you can see we have a pre-launch period. So that's before we've actually launched. And we have a launch period. So that's the time we actually launch the product. And we have a post-launch, and that's the period after the launch has happened. And for those particular periods, we have some specific types of emails. Let's assume that product 3 is going to show somebody how to rank web pages on page 1 of Google. So you start by sending out emails that simply, as I say, give away great content of great value to the subscribers. You can either give that away in an email, or you could give it away as free stuff, which is even better. I mean, each email you send should build on the previous one and until finally you kind of, as I say, you send out your pitch and actually make the offer. So let's just look at what email 1 might be. So as I said, product 3 there is a product that shows you how to rank on page 1 of Google. Now, your autoresponder list may have been filled from somebody with a freebie that has an interest in SEO, but we don't know that they understand the importance of being on page 1 of Google. Now, if you're going to sell a product at some point in time in the future that shows them how to get on page 1 of Google, the reason they're going to buy that is if they believe they need to be on the page 1 of Google. So that's what you need to tell them. So the first thing you do when you send out is you start to educate them. You educate the subscriber as to why he needs to rank on Google page 1. Perhaps explain how Google works in showing some pages higher in the search engine than others, and then give the details of the search click-through statistics, like 90% of all 90% of all searchers click a result on the first page of Google. So only 10% of searchers ever look beyond page 1. So that means if you're not on page 1, you're missing out on 90% of the potential traffic. So, the idea is to educate the subscriber to realize and to understand that having their web page on Google page 1 is absolutely crucial. So that's what the first email in this sequence does. So part of the pre-launch, first part of the pre-launch is educating them in preparation for selling to them. As I said, this can be in an email, or you can link the email, you can actually use the email to link out to a blog post, or even download a PDF, or give them a video. So, it's all about adding value. It's about giving away free, valuable information in some form. So the more it looks like you're giving away, then the better they're going to like it. Now, email 2, as I said, again, this is now pure value. So we're not mentioning that we've even got anything launching or anything coming up at this point. We're still giving away valuable information. So maybe this next one will be a free video which explains perhaps a single particular tip on how to improve your on-page optimization, which will help increase your search rankings and get you nearer to that coveted page 1. And it's similar with email 3, again, pure value. And maybe you might send them some information on maybe the top 3 mistakes made by people when they're SEOing or search engine optimizing their web pages. And you may want to add a little bit of intrigue as well. So you could say something like, well, tomorrow I'll be sending out the ultimate solution to ranking on page 1 of Google. You don't necessarily tell them it's a product that's coming out. Just tell them you've got something coming that's interested for them, and keep an eye on their inbox. So when you send out on launch day your email 4 here, the reveal, then people are actually already have anticipation. They're going to be looking for that. So now you simply pitch your new SEO guide. As I say, by now you'll have people looking for that email coming into your inbox. People will be anticipating more great content. They've already had some great content. They're looking forward towards more. Okay, then they'll realize they're going to pay for it. But if your previous content was super valuable and of course free, then the perception of the quality of your free content will reflect on what likely to be the quality of your paid content. So if that's why you need to put huge valuable content into that first free stuff, because it will give a high perceived value of your paid content. So then finally, after a few days or a week or however long your launch period is going to be, normally a maximum of kind of 14 days, but more recently I've noticed things being shorter than that, only up to 6 or 7 days. You need to put or close down your launch, if you like, close down your product and say, it's not going to be for sale for much longer, or the bonuses you're getting with it are going to cease, or the price is going to double or treble or something to force people to want to buy it now, otherwise they will lose out in some form or manner. Yes, it relies on people's fear of missing out, but it's a fairly standard tactic that's used, and it's very, very effective. You need to create some scarcity by ending the sale of the product in some form or manner. So in this mail, for instance, you could say that the product will only be for sale so long and will close shortly. So maybe, my top SEO guide to page 1 rankings has been a roaring success and it's almost sold out. And I wanted to give you plenty of warning before I close the offer at midnight on Sunday. So write a specific date or a specific date and time, midnight on Sunday. That's when it closes, and they've got to act before that. So make sure you buy your SEO guide now while you still can. After Sunday, you will not be able to buy it again at this price, or it might double in price or just disappear altogether. Whatever your particular scarcity idea is. That's just one mail showing on there, but there's no reason why you couldn't send out multiple mails. Send one out when it's 48 hours to go, 24 hours to go, 3 hours to go, and each of those emails will be bringing in more sales. So you can see, just from that, even though you're not doing a full launch, you're still using the same tactics to massively increase your product sales, and it really, really works. This stuff really works. You send out an email once, they might not even see it because 50 other emails sit on top of it an hour later from all the other people that are promoting. So you need multiple emails, if only to be seen in the crowd. You need to, when you do get them, you need to be giving them pure value and some real cool stuff so that they get excited and they want to open your emails and then follow the process through. So, like I say, as you can see, this process works. This is all about maximizing the revenue in your back end. Okay, next I want to look at the brand element. Another area that people kind of leave out of the puzzle. Yep, you can live without it, but it does make life so much more easier. And I'll explain why. The brand element is all about creating credibility. The one question I get asked all the time is, how can I sell a product if I am not an expert in that niche, or if I'm a newbie and no one has ever heard of me? And the short answer is, become known and become an expert. Now that may sound a hard task, but trust me when I tell you, it is the easiest part of the whole process. Firstly, understand that to teach someone something, you only need to know more than the other person you're teaching. You kind of only need to be the next page on the book. The vast majority of people are complete beginners. In fact, everybody's a complete beginner when they start something, so all you need to learn is what they don't know. So if you're a few steps ahead of them, then you've got something to teach. In practice, if you research and read up on a niche for 2 weeks, even if you have never been in that niche before, if you've got any interest in it at all, or you can learn to have some interest in it, then if you research and read up on a niche for 2 weeks, you will almost definitely know more than 95% of the people operating in that niche. Second thing to understand is that people are inherently lazy. So again, in practice, all the information you need to do, or all the information you need to do something, or to fix something, or to resolve something, or to teach something, it's almost definitely already out there on the internet. The internet's massive. However, that's the problem. There is a lot of incorrect information, and there is just so much information that people just get bogged down with it all. They can't see the wood for the trees, or it'll just take them so much time to find and sort all the information. So people are very, very happy to pay to get that information properly packaged. So if it's already been discovered and neatly put into an ebook or put together in a video so they can just get told the bits they need and lose all the peripheral rubbish they've got to spend days and weeks searching for, they're willing to pay for that. Okay, what I have just described is being a subject expert. In other words, somebody who knows about the subject. And if you think about it, there are a huge amount of subject experts of which nobody has ever heard of. So it doesn't actually matter that they're experts in that sense, because nobody's heard of them. So how do they know they're an expert? So if an expert, no matter how good he is, puts an ebook together about curing acne, and he's the top expert in the world, if you've never heard of him, or you don't understand that he is that expert, how are you to believe the contents of that ebook? That's where you get something we call a perceived expert. And that's really the person that everyone else thinks is the expert, not necessarily actually the subject expert. And so the subject expert and the perceived expert are two very, very different things. And it's this perceived expertise that is helped created through your branding element. Now, I mentioned earlier that you can become an instant expert by launching a product, and this is true. And if you did it in this case, it would form part of your branding element. So you'd be launching a product purely to give to get this perceived expert status. So in practice, being a perceived expert is about getting yourself known, for all the right reasons, of course. And to do this, you start by building your own personal or brand blog. That's simply a WordPress blog of your own name. So in my case, I've got a tony-marriott.com. I couldn't get Tony Marriott. Unfortunately, it's been taken by somebody else previously. That's a problem you have to sort out. But basically, I have my own blog. And then you simply post regularly on the subjects you want to be perceived as an expert in. And on top of that, you simply need to use social media and the kind of social sites and create accounts on those sites. So Facebook and Twitter are obvious, and then you can tweet a few things and start to get a few followers and tweet to them. You get some Facebook friends, and you can start putting little posts on there about you're expert, whatever the subject you want to be an expert in, and you very, very quickly become a perceived expert. And there's a lot of places you can go to. You just create profiles on those and other relevant forums, etc. So again, if you join forums, then you post on the forums and you quickly get perceived as an expert. Obvious places to go to are Google Plus, LinkedIn is another good one, and add your images to anything you can find, because images will get on the front page of Google. And basically, a lot of these social sites, they rank highly because they have huge authority in Google. So when somebody goes in and Googles your name, they've never heard of you, if you start coming up on page 1 of Google for your profiles, for your Facebook page, for some posts on your blog, then you will be perceived as an expert. It's as simple as that. So this is your perceived expert status. Say how much better when a prospective buyer searches for you on Google and they see all your results. It just makes you look like an expert, even if you aren't. So that's the perceived expert. As I said, you've got to remember, to become a subject expert, even if you know nothing about it already, it can take you 2 weeks, literally 2 weeks, to become a subject expert in absolutely pretty much anything, enough to be able to create some training manuals or some how-to books or some problem-solving videos in that niche. Okay, final part of the system that I want to go through is the affiliate element. And I really wanted to, I left it to the last because we talked about affiliate promotions. You may be fully aware of affiliate promotions, but I want you to understand exactly what the affiliate element does. So obviously it's all about promoting affiliate offers, although this might bring in even more money to the system. It absolutely does. It's a good way, again, when you've promoted all your back-end offers, you can then promote affiliates and make money from their systems. That, again, is not the most important point. The most important point of this is kind of networking with other vendors and other affiliates, because this generally works best when you're promoting other vendor launches in your niche. So if you've got a weight loss product or an SEO product and you build a list of people interested in that, when somebody launches a weight loss product or somebody launches their SEO product, this is primarily to make connections with the vendors. If you promote them, they are much more likely to promote you. It's called reciprocity. As the big money is in the back end, and that's how your affiliate promotions actually make the most money, not from what you're promoting as an affiliate product, although that will make money. But if you can then get those people to mail to your products, or for your products, mail to their list for your products, then they will be fed to your back-end products, they will be promoting you, and you will be making a lot more money. Now, affiliate promotion emails can, as I said, be added to your autoresponder even a few days beforehand. They can be semi-automated. We tend to use the broadcast method, as I said, but you can put them in a few days before and then schedule them to go out as a broadcast, which means, you can put them there on a Tuesday and you can be away the weekend and they'll still go out and get done for you. And that kind of winds it all up. So, it is as simple as that. Now, I know it's been a long through because I've tried to give you as much detail as I can about the thing so you can clearly understand it all fits together. But as you can see now, there's the system. Go back over what we said. There's no real big secrets there. There's nothing really complicated. Everything's very, very achievable. It's a complete and proven system. Unlike, as I keep repeating, what most gurus are teaching, they don't give you the whole story. They're missing out on this multiple parts of the back end. They're missing out on things like the affiliate promotions and the brand elements and how it all fits together. They're missing out on explaining how you use the launch principles on your ordinary products. All this is missed out in one part or another from most people's training. This is all included here so you can kind of see exactly what it is. You can see the whole story. As I said, this is what's working for me, and it's what's working for most successful internet marketers, certainly the ones you would have heard by name. Now, I said I would have something very special for you at the end of this webinar, so give me just one more minute and I'll explain everything to you. Now, I know everyone on this webinar will be having or will have had varying levels of success, but I want to give every single one of you the chance to really make the next step. Now, I want you to join me in my IM Insider Elite group and let me guide you to the success that you deserve. Now, what I've done is create a very specific way of building the system that I've just explained to you. Now, I've put the whole process into 10 simple steps, and each step I will guide you and help you through to make sure that you get everything right and everything done. You'll get an in-depth personal video training and my personal help for each of these 10 steps. Now, I'll also give you all my templates and tools and resources, my shortcuts and tricks, all the things I've kind of discovered over the years that make things a lot easier for me now. You really kind of get things up fast and get you off the ground. But most importantly, as I said, I'll be with you every step of the way, and I'll make sure that each step is fully completed before you move on to the next step. And that way, everything you do will be positively built on top of each thing you've done previously until you achieve your final success. Now, for the IM Insider Elite Coaching, I normally charge $1,997, but today I've opened up the membership for just $1. So I said I wanted to give everyone a chance, but the reality is that this level of coaching is massively time intensive for me. It's no point me taking on too many people because I won't be able to contribute what you deserve to be given in the way of personal help. After all, realistically, I'm only one person. I don't have a massive organization behind me. It's just me doing this. Really, I'm only going to be able to let in about 40 people at this time, and it will be on a first come, first served basis. Now, I've made it really easy to join with just this $1 membership, and I kind of feel I might be shooting myself in the foot a bit here, so I do need you to help me out. There's a limited number of spaces, so if you're not truly serious about making money, then please don't just sign up to have a look around. I'm really looking for people who are prepared to actually listen to what I tell them, and to actually do what I tell them, and actually put in the time to complete this, actually to do the work. Now, I said earlier, I cannot help everyone. I wish I could help everyone. It's just not possible. So, if you're still believing in these magic buttons or get rich quick schemes, or you're just plain lazy, or you're kind of just not prepared to make the effort, then, this really isn't for you. As far as the work is concerned, I'm going to lay everything out, say it's in 10 simple to do steps. I've made it as simple as I can for you, but I can't do it for you. That is your job. And that's what you need to commit to inside the IM Insider Elite. So that being said, you can get your $1 access to my IM Insider Elite at the URL that you see on the screen. Bang that in now and go over to the trial access page. It's at iminsiderelite.com/special. And I say, just type that into your browser. You'll go to the page, and on that page, you'll see the $1 trial access to the Insider Elite membership, and you can take your first steps to real success. So let me help you out. Okay, I'll just say that, and again, it's the http:// and it's iminsiderelite.com/special. And that'll take you straight to your page. So jump in there and grab that while you can. As I said, we are limited in spaces, and it really is first come, first serve. So I'll just give you that one more time. It's iminsiderelite.com/special, and say go to that page. Everything's on there waiting for you now to access. I'm on the other side of there. So as soon as you're signed up, you'll be getting some guidance from me. Okay guys, looking forward to seeing you on the inside.